Today, again, talking Puritans, but I want to open up with both of you, either of you, whoever would like to take the ball and run with it. But just speak about the project in general. I believe, David, when we were back there, it was a year ago last April. So a year and a half ago.
Wow. Okay.
We were, and I think, Matthew, you might have been on location getting some more drone footage. The film is wonderfully shot. There's great cinematography, and there are a lot of interviews and talking heads, but it's not exclusively that. It's stitched together well, not only with a lot of on-location shots and drone footage that's gorgeous, especially in these locations, but also some tremendous illustrations and animation work to especially illustrating and animating the timelines. So it's all stitched together very well, and it's segmented well, structured very well. It's easily understandable, and it's narrated by Dr. Beakey, who does the overdubs on a lot of scenes, but also is in person narrating and stitching the whole thing together. So it's not just a bunch of disparate conversations, but there's a flow that moves from beginning to end. So well done, brothers. But tell us about the project. How did the idea originally surface, and when did you begin work on this? Because it must have taken forever.
Well, shall I give that a go, Matthew,
Sure.
and you jump in and correct me at any point?
Great.
So I think probably over the past 5 years or so, maybe that far back, Matthew and I kept bumping into each other at all the usual conferences that you would expect in Minneapolis, in Louisville, in all over the place. And us as exhibitors, we would end up going out and eating and chatting and throwing ideas around. And one of the challenges was, okay, nobody's done the definitive Puritan resource. I represent Puritan Seminary. It should probably be us. If we don't do it, somebody else might do it, and they might not give it the same emphasis. And so I think that was a challenge that percolated for a little while. And when opportunity arose, probably 2 or 3 occasions, I probably pushed the idea with Dr. Beakey, saying, I know you're a bookman. I know that's what you understand and you're comfortable with, but I really think we have an opportunity here to reach people with a different medium, and also provide, the phrase we've been using is an on-ramp to the Puritans, an entryway. These men are not hard to understand. There is an easy way to get into them without jumping straight to, the long-winded, more difficult examples that we might be scared off by. And over recent decades, ourselves at Reformation Heritage and Banner of Truth and a few other publishers have been publishing the kind of, Puritan paperback, Puritan treasures, simple introductions. But people have still got to pick the book up and dedicate maybe an hour, a couple of hours to reading it. And we really wanted an overview, much like Media Gratiae did with Lloyd Jones, with Logic on Fire. But the challenge was, how on earth do we tell over a century worth of history in 2 hours and multiple people's stories? How do we do that justice? How do we get across truth, not just the biographies, and all those kind of challenges? And so in my mind, we saw the expertise of Media Gratiae, who'd done the movie of Lloyd Jones, but then they'd also done the Bible studies. So I think what we saw was the opportunity to do some kind of combination package, sort of do this once, and then any other person comes along and says, well, we can't beat that. That was our intention anyway. We wanted this to be the highest quality it could possibly be. And with music and animation and everything that you described, and really get people excited about what we'd already seen and what multiple people have already seen, the richness, the beauty of Puritanism with its flaws, and we don't hide that either. But how these can enhance our lives. And so Dr. Beakey took hold of that vision, submitted somewhat to going on camera. He wasn't completely happy with the whole thing.
The idea, yeah.
Well, just because he I don't know how many times he's said it during this whole process. I'm a bookman, and it's true. But we got him out of his comfort zone, and I think it was worthwhile, and I think the result is very good. And so from that point, we did all the usual things and produced budgets and plans and scripts and initial meetings to see if this could possibly work. And then once we decided it could, we went into that whole production process. You can take over if you like at that point, Matthew.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear. I mean, you guys are as conversant with the Puritans as anyone, as much as none of us want to step up and say, well, we're experts on the Puritans, but we do love to read these men. And, we didn't just start reading the Puritans this year. And so it's really encouraging to me to hear you guys say that it was good. It was a good film. You enjoyed it. There were things in there that benefited you, because we wanted to accomplish that with it, but I want to pick up on what David was saying. We wanted to talk to the person in the pew at, say, Bouncing Branch Baptist Church in Missouri, somewhere in middle America, who, they love the Lord, they love his word, but they've not read the Puritans, and they might be afraid that the Puritans were too academic, or that they were, this stuff was written so long ago. How could it possibly be relevant to the things that we're facing in our day?
Right.
And, we wanted to show that if you've read the Puritans, you think this was written this year. This is because, God hasn't changed and the state of mankind hasn't changed. And so, all of these things, the scriptures clearly speak to those things, and the Puritans are just delivering the scriptures to us. So, yeah, we wanted it to be a bit of an on-ramp. And the success that Media Gratiae has seen with the video-based Bible studies, like the Behold Your God study, and the documentaries that we've done, highlighting historical figures, it's not necessarily a sign of health in our day and age, because the books exist. I mean, if you were to go in the next room over from where David is sitting, I mean, there are the books. There they are. Go and pick them up and read them. But people are not as willing to do that, and so we want to encourage them to do that. That's our hope, is that you may be listening to this, and you may be, your whole bookshelf may be Puritans, and hopefully I think there'll be something in this film for you. But there are people that and love, people who are in your church or people who are in your family, that you want to see have a better grasp on what the scripture teaches, and this whole issue of doctrine and experience coming together for this warm experiential Calvinism. And that the Puritans are maybe the best help that we have for that. And so, for you to put this film into their hands, we believe will lead to them wanting to pick up, as David said, Puritan treasures for today, and then eventually they're going to be digesting all of Owen's works, and um, all of the other stuff.